know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story. Tyler Walsh stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his corner office, watching the autumn leaves dance across the financial district below. At 45, he cut an imposing figure in his tailored charcoal suit. The morning sun caught the silver threading through his dark hair, earned through years of building Walsh Investment Partners from scratch. His phone buzzed with a text from his stepdaughter, Cassandra Stone. "Dad, I hate to ask, but the university billing office is being difficult again. Can we talk?" Tyler smiled, remembering the scared 12-year-old girl who'd first called him dad 15 years ago. Now at 27, pursuing her MBA, Cassandra had blossomed into a confident young woman. He'd made sure of that, providing every opportunity money could buy. "Of course, sweetheart. I'll handle it today." His secretary, Margaret Chin, knocked on his door. "Mr. Walsh, your 10 a.m. with Platinum Holdings is here." "Push it to tomorrow, Margaret." "Family matter." Margaret nodded, hiding her surprise. In 15 years, she'd never seen Tyler Walsh reschedule a meeting with a major client. "Of course, sir. Shall I have James bring the car around?" "Please." "And Margaret? Clear my afternoon, too." Tyler gathered his belongings, including a leather portfolio containing Cassandra's previous tuition statements. She'd been asking for more frequent payments lately, citing rising costs and additional fees. He attributed it to the prestigious program and inflation. After all, she'd always been responsible with money. The drive to the university took 40 minutes, during which Tyler reviewed several investment proposals on his tablet. James, his driver of 10 years, navigated through traffic with practiced ease. "How's Sarah's college applications going, James?" Tyler asked, remembering his driver's daughter was in her senior year. "Very well, sir. Thanks to your letter of recommendation, she's got 3 interviews lined up." "Talent deserves opportunity," Tyler replied. It was a philosophy he lived by, one that had guided his relationship with Cassandra. The university campus sprawled before them, all ivy-covered buildings and manicured lawns. Tyler straightened his tie as he stepped out of the car. "I'll call when I'm done, James." The financial aid office occupied the ground floor of an imposing Georgian building. Inside, the air carried that distinct academic mix of old books and institutional cleaning products. A student worker looked up from her computer, eyes widening slightly at Tyler's presence. His suit probably cost more than her semester's tuition. "Good morning. I'm here to see Gloria Conley regarding Cassandra Stone's account." "One moment, sir." The student picked up her phone, speaking quietly before nodding. "Miss Conley will see you now." Gloria Conley's office reflected her 20 years in academic administration, organized, efficient, and slightly worn around the edges. The woman herself, in her mid-50s with steel gray hair and reading glasses on a chain, rose to greet him. "Mr. Walsh?" Her tone carried an odd note that immediately set Tyler's internal alarms ringing. "I must say, I'm surprised to see you here." Tyler took the offered seat. "Cassandra mentioned some issues with her account. I'd like to clear any outstanding balance and pay her next semester's fees in advance." Gloria's frown deepened. "Mr. Walsh, there seems to be some confusion. Cassandra withdrew from the university 3 months ago." The words hit Tyler like a physical blow, but decades of business negotiations had taught him to maintain his composure. "There must be some mistake. She's been regularly updating me about her classes, her professors." He pulled out the portfolio. "I have her tuition statements right here." Gloria adjusted her glasses, examining the papers. "These aren't official university documents, Mr. Walsh. Our records show Cassandra formally withdrew at the beginning of the semester, citing personal reasons. She hasn't been enrolled in any classes since then." Tyler's mind raced through recent conversations with Cassandra, the vague updates about professors he'd never met, the increasing requests for money, the way she'd avoided his offers to take her to lunch on campus. "I see," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil beneath. "Could you print me a copy of her withdrawal documentation?" "Of course." Gloria typed briefly on her computer. The withdrawal was processed on September 3rd. She cited family obligations as the reason. The printer hummed to life. Tyler accepted the papers, scanning them quickly. Cassandra's signature, dated 3 months ago, stared back at him. Thank you for your time, Miss Conley. You've been very helpful. Rising to leave, Tyler paused at the door. One more thing, has Cassandra requested any transcripts or records be sent to other institutions? No, Mr. Walsh. No transcript requests have been made. Outside, Tyler loosened his tie slightly, the crisp autumn air doing little to cool his rising anger. He'd built his career on identifying when things didn't add up. Right now, nothing about this situation added up. The drive from the university seemed longer than usual. Tyler sat in the back of his car, mind methodically piecing together the puzzle before him. James kept glancing in the rearview mirror, sensing his employer's unusual silence. Should we head back to the office, sir?
No.
Tyler's voice was calm, controlled. Take me to the Greenwich. It was Cassandra's apartment building, a luxury complex where he'd co-signed her lease 2 years ago. During the drive, Tyler tried Cassandra's cell phone 3 times. Each call went straight to voicemail. Her cheerful greeting felt like mockery now. Hi, you've reached Cassie. Leave a message and I'll call you back when I can. He pulled up her Instagram profile, something he rarely checked. The last post was from 2 weeks ago, a sunset photo tagged at his beach house in Southampton, the beach house he'd given Amanda for their 10th anniversary. James, change of plans. Call Kelsey Bennett's number from my contacts. Kelsey, Cassandra's roommate, answered on the 4th ring. Hello? Kelsey, it's Tyler Walsh. Oh,
Mr. Walsh.
The hesitation in her voice was palpable. Is everything okay? I'm trying to reach Cassandra. Her phone seems to be off. Kelsey's discomfort radiated through the phone. Cassie moved out a few weeks ago. She said she was staying at her mom's beach house. Tyler's jaw tightened. Did she say why? Not really. She just packed up one weekend and said she needed some family time. Another pause. I thought you knew. Of course, Tyler lied smoothly. I was just confirming. Thank you, Kelsey. After hanging up, Tyler pulled up the beach house's security app on his phone. The system showed regular activity over the past 3 months, exactly when Cassandra had withdrawn from university. James, take me to Southampton. Sir? That's a 2-hour drive. Then we better get started. During the drive, Tyler made several calls, his voice never betraying the storm brewing beneath his calm exterior. First to his assistant, Margaret, cancel all my meetings for the next 2 days. Family emergency. Then to his head of security, Dave, I need everything you have on Oscar Bright. Yes, Amanda's personal trainer. Everything. The Southampton house was a modern masterpiece of glass and steel, perched on 2 acres of pristine beachfront. Tyler had bought it 5 years ago for $7 million, then spent another $3 million on renovations to make it perfect for Amanda. Lorenzo Humphrey, the head of security for the gated community, met Tyler's car at the gate. The man's usual professional demeanor seemed strained. Mr. Walsh, we weren't expecting you today. Clearly not, Tyler replied, noting Lorenzo's discomfort. How long have they been here? Lorenzo shifted his weight. Sir? Lorenzo, I've doubled your Christmas bonus for the past 5 years. Don't insult both of us by pretending you don't know what I'm talking about. The security guard's shoulders slumped. Mrs. Walsh said not to disturb them. She's been here with Miss Stone for about 3 months. And Mr. Bright, the trainer. He's been staying here too. Tyler nodded, as if this was exactly what he'd expected. Thank you for your honesty, Lorenzo. I trust you'll extend me the same courtesy in the future? Yes, sir. Of course, sir. The house key felt heavy in Tyler's hand as he stood at the front door. Inside, he could hear faint music and voices from the back patio. He entered silently, his expensive shoes soundless on the marble floors. The entrance hall showed signs of occupation, unfamiliar men's boots by the door, a gym bag that definitely wasn't his. Moving through the house, Tyler noted more evidence of his wife's betrayal. Prescription prenatal vitamins on the kitchen counter, a man's watch he'd never seen before on the master bedroom nightstand. As he approached the patio doors, voices became clearer. He stopped just inside, hidden by the costly designer drapes he'd let Amanda select. Mom, these flowers would be perfect for the ceremony. Cassandra's voice, excited and carefree. The colors will match the sunset perfectly. They're beautiful, honey. Amanda's voice carried that warm tone that had first attracted Tyler to her. But won't they be out of season by then? Not if we have the wedding in June like we planned. The divorce should be final by April, and that gives us plenty of time for everything to settle. Tyler peered through the gap in the curtains. The scene before him was like a photograph of betrayal. Amanda reclined on a luxury lounger, her hand resting on a clearly pregnant belly. Cassandra sat cross-legged beside her, a tablet in hand displaying what appeared to be wedding venues. And there was Oscar Bright, shirtless and tanned, mixing drinks at the outdoor bar Tyler had installed last summer. "Baby, bring me that coconut water instead," Amanda called to Oscar. "The doctor said to watch my sugar intake." "Anything for you and our little one," Oscar replied, his tone sickeningly sweet. He looked exactly as Tyler remembered from their brief meetings, 32, perfectly muscled, with the kind of looks that belonged in a supplement advertisement. "I still can't believe how perfect everything's working out," Cassandra continued, swiping through images on her tablet. "The venue deposit is paid. I've got the caterer on hold, and that money Dad's been sending for tuition has covered all the wedding planner's fees." Amanda laughed, and the sound made Tyler's blood run cold. He always was too trusting. "Remember when he actually believed you needed extra money for special seminars last month?" "Well, those luxury birthing classes aren't cheap, Mom," Cassandra giggled. "And neither is keeping your pregnancy quiet from the country club gossips. It'll all be worth it when everything's finalized," Oscar added, handing Amanda her drink. "Your dad won't know what hit him. By the time he figures it out, we'll have everything in place." Tyler had heard enough. He stepped silently back through the house, his mind already formulating plans. Every business deal he'd ever made, every negotiation he'd won, had taught him the value of timing. Right now, timing was everything. In the car, he pulled out his phone one last time, sending a text to Benjamin Boyer, his attorney and oldest friend. "Need to meet tonight. It's about Amanda, and it's worse than we thought." The response came quickly. "Usual place. 8 p.m. As James drove them back to the city, Tyler watched the coastal mansions slip past. He'd built his life on calculating risks and recognizing opportunities. Amanda, Cassandra, and Oscar thought they were playing a long game. They had no idea what a real long game looked like. "James," Tyler said quietly, "take the scenic route back. I have some calls to make." The car turned onto the coastal highway, and Tyler Walsh began to plan his response to betrayal. The Oak Room at the St. Regis held memories for Tyler Walsh. He'd closed his first $1 million deal here 15 years ago. Tonight, it would serve a different purpose. He sat in a corner booth, watching ice melt in an untouched glass of Macallan 25. Benjamin Boyer slid into the seat across from him at exactly 8 p.m. In 30 years of friendship, Ben had never been late to a meeting. His Brooks Brothers suit and wire-rimmed glasses projected exactly what he was, one of New York's most ruthless divorce attorneys. "You look like hell," Ben observed, ordering scotch for himself. "I found out why today." Tyler's voice was controlled, methodical. He laid out everything he discovered: Cassandra's withdrawal from university, the beach house situation, Amanda's pregnancy, and the planned wedding. Ben's expression darkened as he listened. When Tyler finished, the attorney pulled out his phone and fired off several texts. "I'm putting my investigative team on this tonight, but they've already made crucial mistakes. Tell me." First, Cassandra has committed clear fraud. Accepting money under false pretenses, using it for unauthorized purposes, that's criminal territory. Ben leaned forward. "And Amanda? Using joint accounts for her affair-related expenses creates a paper trail. My forensic accountants will have a field day." The waiter delivered Ben's scotch and disappeared discreetly. "What about Oscar?" Tyler asked. Ben's smile was predatory. "That's where it gets interesting. I had my team do preliminary digging when you first mentioned him 2 months ago. Something felt off about him. Turns out our boy has a history, 5 previous relationships with wealthy clients' wives. Each ended in messy divorces where he walked away with substantial settlements." Tyler's eyes narrowed. "A professional con man." "Exactly. He finds wealthy, married women, usually through his personal training business, seduces them, convinces them to leave their husbands, then takes them for whatever he can get in the divorce settlement. Ben pulled out his tablet, showing Tyler documentation. He's careful, though. Never enough evidence to prove criminal intent. Tyler studied the documents, his business mind calculating angles. They think they're being clever, planning everything in advance, using my money to fund their exit strategy. Most men in your position would confront them immediately, Ben observed. Storm in, make a scene. That's probably what they're prepared for. Most men let emotion drive their decisions. Tyler took his first sip of scotch. I want to handle this carefully. They think they're playing the long game. Let's show them what a real long game looks like. Over the next hour, they constructed a plan. Ben's legal pad filled with notes as Tyler outlined his strategy. When they finished, Ben sat back, impressed. You're not just going to beat them, he said. You're going to make them destroy themselves. First step, Tyler replied, is to secure the company. I've been planning to transfer shares to Cassandra for her 30th birthday. Those need to be protected. I'll create a new trust first thing tomorrow. Ironclad. No possible claim from Amanda or Cassandra. Tyler nodded. Meanwhile, I'll start documenting everything. Every call, every text, every fraudulent expense. I want a record that will stand up in both civil and criminal court. And Oscar? Let me handle Oscar. Tyler's smile didn't reach his eyes. Every con man has a weakness. His is greed. As they finished their drinks, Ben studied his oldest friend. You know, most men would be falling apart right now. Most men haven't spent 30 years turning other people's bad decisions into profit. Tyler signaled for the check. Besides, they've given me everything I need. The only question is how long to let them think they're winning. Over the next week, to the outside world, nothing had changed. He attended board meetings, closed deals, and maintained his usual schedule. Only Margaret, his secretary, noticed that he was arriving earlier and leaving later. Mr. Walsh? She entered his office one evening, finding him reviewing financial records. Cassandra called again about the tuition payment. Tell her I'll handle it tomorrow. Tyler looked up. And Margaret? I'm increasing your security clearance. You'll be handling some sensitive documentation over the next few months. Margaret nodded, understanding the unspoken message. She'd been with him for 15 years, long enough to know when Tyler Walsh was preparing for war. The tuition payments continued, each one meticulously documented. Tyler even agreed to increase them when Cassandra called, her voice sweet and concerned about rising program costs. Of course, sweetheart, he'd said, recording the conversation. Whatever you need for your education. Meanwhile, Ben's investigation into Oscar Bright revealed a pattern that was both predictable and damning. 5 wealthy women in 3 different states. Each relationship followed the same script: personal training sessions leading to an affair, promises of a new life together, then a carefully orchestrated divorce where Oscar walked away with substantial assets. He's good, Ben admitted during one of their evening strategy sessions. Uses burner phones for communication. Keeps his name off most documents. But he slipped up with Amanda. How so? Got cocky. Started using the joint credit card you gave her for emergency expenses to book hotel rooms, buy gifts. Even paid for some of their dates using it. Tyler smiled. It was exactly what he'd expected when he'd given Amanda that card 2 years ago. Document everything. I want a complete timeline of the affair. The next phase required careful timing. Through his business connections, Tyler arranged for Oscar to be offered a position as fitness director at an exclusive resort in Singapore. The salary was impressive, the benefits package extraordinary. As expected, Oscar turned it down. He thinks he's got a bigger payday coming with Amanda, Ben observed when Tyler told him. Classic con man mistake. Getting greedy. Perfect, Tyler replied. Now we know he's fully committed to their plan. The pieces were falling into place. Tyler maintained his regular routine, but his days were filled with careful preparation. He upgraded the security system at his office, ensuring every meeting would be recorded. He had his legal team review Amanda's prenup, focusing on the morality clause she'd insisted on including, ironic now, given her actions. Cassandra's fraud provided the foundation for criminal charges. Tyler worked with Ben to document every fraudulent transaction, building a case that would be impossible to defend against. The fact that she'd used the money for wedding preparations and Amanda's private medical care only strengthened their position. The beauty of it, Ben said, reviewing their progress, is that they've done all the work for us. Every step they've taken to hide their plan just makes our case stronger. Tyler spent his evenings in his home office, watching security footage from the beach house. He saw Oscar coming and going, noted Amanda's growing pregnancy, watched Cassandra's frequent visits. Each observation was cataloged, each pattern noted. Sir? James, his driver, spoke up one evening as they left the office. Mrs. Walsh called again about attending the Carter Charity Gala next week. Tell her I'll be there. Tyler checked his watch. And James? Take the rest of the week off. Family time is important. The driver nodded, understanding the subtle warning to keep his own family close. 3 months of careful preparation culminated on a crisp December morning. Tyler's office overlooked Central Park, the trees bare against a steel-gray sky. Everything was in place. Margaret, he spoke into the intercom. Please show my family in. Amanda entered first, elegant in designer clothes that Tyler's money had bought. Her pregnancy was more visible now, though she still tried to hide it behind loose clothing. Cassandra followed, tablet in hand, probably containing more wedding plans. Oscar came last, his practiced confidence slipping slightly in the unfamiliar corporate environment. Darling, Amanda's voice dripped honey. This is a surprise. You've been so busy lately. Sit down. Tyler's tone was pleasant, but held no room for argument. We need to talk about family. They arranged themselves on the leather sofa, Amanda between Oscar and Cassandra. Tyler noticed how Oscar's hand automatically went to Amanda's back, a gesture meant to seem protective but really marking his territory. I've asked you here because I care about family, Tyler began, his voice steady. And family should know the truth. He pressed a button on his desk, and the wall-mounted screen behind him came to life. What truth would that be? Amanda's attempt at innocence might once have fooled him. Let's start with you, Oscar. Tyler pulled up the first set of documents. Would you like to explain these? The screen displayed divorce settlements, bank records, and surveillance photos. Oscar's face remained composed, but his hand tightened on Amanda's shoulder. I don't know what you're implying, Oscar started, but Tyler cut him off. 5 wealthy women in 3 states. Each one divorced their husband after meeting you. Each divorce settlement naming you as a beneficiary of various assets. Tyler's voice remained conversational. You're very good at what you do. Until now. Amanda turned to Oscar, confusion breaking through her careful mask. What is he talking about? He's trying to manipulate us, Oscar said quickly. This is all fake. Fake. Tyler pressed another button. Security camera footage from various hotels played silently. Like the rooms you booked with Amanda's emergency credit card? Or the jewelry you bought her using our joint account? Cassandra started to speak, but Tyler silenced her with a look. I'm not finished. While Oscar here was playing his usual game, you two were busy with your own schemes. More documents appeared on screen. University withdrawal papers. Bank transfers. Wedding venue deposits. Cassandra, as of this morning, the police have opened an investigation into your fraudulent use of tuition funds. Want to explain to them how you used that money for wedding preparations and your mother's private medical care? The color drained from Cassandra's face. Dad, I can explain. And Amanda, Tyler continued as if she hadn't spoken. Remember that morality clause you insisted on adding to our prenup? The one that said any infidelity would result in total forfeiture of claims to my company assets. Amanda's hand went protectively to her stomach. You wouldn't. Actually, I would. And I am. Tyler stood, buttoning his suit jacket. You thought you were being clever, planning everything in advance, using my money to fund your escape. But you forgot something crucial. What's that? Oscar's voice held a challenge. I built my fortune by turning other people's mistakes into opportunities. Tyler smiled, and it wasn't kind. Your mistakes have been very profitable. He laid out the rest methodically. The criminal charges against Cassandra. The prenup violations that would leave Amanda with nothing. The evidence being sent to Oscar's professional certification board about his pattern of behavior. You can't do this, Amanda protested, tears forming. I'm pregnant. Yes, you are. with another man's child, while still married to me. That should make the divorce proceedings interesting. Tyler's voice held no sympathy. Now, I suggest you all leave. My security team will escort you out. Oh, and Oscar? That job offer in Singapore? It's still open. You might want to consider it before the certification board receives their documentation. As they were let out, Tyler heard Amanda's voice crack. Oscar, tell me it isn't true about the other women? The door closed on their confusion and recriminations. Tyler sat back down at his desk, examining the city skyline. He'd built his empire by recognizing opportunities. Sometimes, he reflected, the greatest opportunity came disguised as betrayal. Benjamin entered a few minutes later. It's done. The police are waiting to interview Cassandra. Amanda's accounts have been frozen. And Oscar? Let's just say his professional future in New York is over. Good. Tyler turned from the window. Now, let's discuss the divorce strategy. The Singapore Airlines first-class ticket had been booked under an alias. Oscar Bright sat in the terminal at JFK, his designer carry-on containing what remained of his life in New York. His phone buzzed with another message from Amanda, the 20th in 2 hours. He deleted it without reading. 3 days had passed since Tyler Walsh's orchestrated revelation in his office. 3 days since Oscar's carefully constructed world had crumbled. The certification board's investigation was gaining momentum. Former clients were coming forward, and his professional reputation was in tatters. Last call for Singapore Airlines Flight 23. Oscar grabbed his bag. The job offer was still open. Tyler had made sure of that. It was either Singapore or facing the mounting legal pressure in New York. He'd chosen survival over Amanda and their unborn child, just like he had 5 times before. Across town, Amanda Walsh sat in her obstetrician's waiting room, mascara smeared from crying. Her phone showed Oscar's message from last night. Sorry, babe. Can't risk the investigation. Better this way. Take care of yourself and the baby. The doctor's receptionist approached carefully. Mrs. Walsh? Your card was declined. Amanda's hand shook as she pulled out another credit card, one of the joint accounts she'd used for her affair expenses. Declined again. Tyler had frozen everything. Meanwhile, at the district attorney's office, Cassandra Stone faced the consequences of her actions. The evidence against her was overwhelming. Falsified tuition requests, fraudulent use of funds, documented transfers to wedding vendors and medical facilities. Your father's evidence is ironclad, her court-appointed attorney, David Chun, explained. Every transaction, every lie, every step of the fraud. He documented everything. There has to be something you can do, Cassandra pleaded. I'm his daughter. Stepdaughter, Chun corrected. And no, there isn't much I can do. Unless what? Unless you're willing to cooperate. Tell us everything about your mother's involvement. How the plan was developed, who initiated it, where the money went. Cassandra's loyalty lasted exactly 17 minutes. By the time she finished her statement, she'd thrown Amanda under the bus so thoroughly that the prosecutor was smiling. Back at Walsh Investment Partners, Tyler reviewed the morning's reports with Benjamin. Oscar's on his way to Singapore. Ben confirmed. Booked the ticket an hour after the certification board contacted him. Tyler nodded, unsurprised. And Amanda? Trying to access the accounts you froze. She's also called your personal line 8 times. Let her squirm. Tyler turned to the window, watching his reflection in the glass. And Cassandra? Singing like a canary. Turns out your stepdaughter's loyalty only runs as deep as her trust fund. Ben shuffled his papers. She's offered to testify against Amanda in exchange for a lighter sentence. Perfect. Tyler's smile was cold. They plotted together. Now let them destroy each other. The divorce papers had already been filed. Amanda's attempts to claim part of the company assets failed before they began. The prenup's morality clause was airtight, and Tyler's evidence of her infidelity was overwhelming. Your wife's lawyer called, Ben mentioned. They want to discuss a settlement. No discussion needed. She gets exactly what the prenup stipulates in cases of infidelity. Nothing. The following weeks unfolded like a carefully orchestrated symphony of consequences. Amanda, abandoned by both her lover and her daughter, faced the harsh reality of her choices. Her pregnancy, once a triumph in her plan with Oscar, became a source of whispered gossip at the country club. The scandal might have been contained if not for an unexpected alliance. Norma and Kenneth Hayes, Amanda's parents, reached out to Tyler directly. "We raised her better than this," Norma said during their lunch meeting at Le Bernardi. Her pearls and perfect posture couldn't hide her disgust at her daughter's behavior. "Kenneth and I want you to know we stand with you, Tyler." Kenneth Hayes, a retired judge, nodded gravely. "Amanda's actions are inexcusable. Using her own daughter in this scheme, betraying a man who's given her everything. Your support means a lot," Tyler replied, genuine appreciation in his voice. The Hayes had always treated him like a son. "I know this isn't easy for you." "Oh, it's quite easy." Norma's tone could have frozen hell. "Our daughter chose to destroy her marriage, conspire with her child to commit fraud, and bring shame to both families. There's nothing difficult about choosing sides here." Their support proved crucial in the social fallout. When Amanda tried to spin her version of events at the Metropolitan Museum's annual gala, Norma shut her down publicly. "Darling," she'd said, voice carrying across the cocktail hour, "do stop embarrassing yourself. Your lovers fled to Singapore, your daughter's facing criminal charges, and you're pregnant with another man's child while still married. Perhaps dignity and silence would be best." Cassandra's reckoning took a different form. The fraud charges threatened everything she'd taken for granted: her reputation, her future career prospects, her lifestyle. Her only hope was cooperating with authorities. In a sterile conference room at the prosecutor's office, she detailed everything. It was Mom's idea initially. After she got involved with Oscar, she said Dad's money could fund their fresh start. I helped them hide the pregnancy, used the tuition money for their plans." The prosecutor, Sarah Martinez, took detailed notes. "And you understood this was fraud?" "Yes." Cassandra's voice was small. "I knew it was wrong. But Mom said after the divorce, with Oscar's help, they'd make sure I was taken care of." "The same Oscar who's now in Singapore?" Cassandra's silence was answer enough. Meanwhile, Tyler's position in both business and social circles strengthened. His handling of the crisis impressed clients and competitors alike. The man who'd turned personal betrayal into professional triumph became something of a legend in Manhattan's upper circles. "I've had 3 potential investors call this week," Benjamin reported during their regular meeting. "They're impressed by how you handled everything. Crisis management at its finest," they said. 1 year later, Tyler's office had a different view. The company's expansion had necessitated a move to a higher floor, offering an even more commanding vista of Central Park. Success, it seemed, was the best revenge. The morning sun caught the edges of an envelope on his desk, Cassandra's latest attempt at reconciliation. Like its predecessors, it would remain unopened. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ash. His phone buzzed with a message from Lynn Rhodes. They'd met during the divorce proceedings. She'd been part of Benjamin's legal team. Her brilliance in court had caught his attention. Her integrity in life had kept it. "Dinner tonight? That new place on Madison?" Tyler smiled as he replied affirmatively. Lynn understood him in ways Amanda never had. She appreciated his strategic mind, shared his values, and most importantly, respected him. "Mr. Walsh?" Margaret's voice came through the intercom. "Benjamin Boyer is here for your weekly lunch." The restaurant they chose offered a view of Central Park's autumn colors. Benjamin arrived exactly on time, as always. "The beach house sold," he reported, settling into his seat. "Above asking price." Tyler nodded. He donated the proceeds to a charity supporting victims of fraud, a decision that had generated considerable positive press and, more importantly, felt right. "How's Amanda doing?" Benjamin asked, though they both knew he kept tabs on everyone involved. "Struggling with single motherhood. The trust fund from her parents barely covers basic expenses." Tyler's tone held no satisfaction, just statement of fact. "Oscar sends sporadic child support when he remembers." "And Cassandra?" "Working entry-level at a small firm in Queens. Part of her plea agreement." Tyler sipped his water. "She writes monthly, asking to meet." "Wanting to explain." "Going to answer her?" "No need. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people face the consequences of their own actions." Their conversation turned to business matters. but Tyler's mind briefly wandered to how much had changed in a year. His company had grown, partially thanks to clients who'd admired his handling of the crisis. What could have destroyed him had instead revealed his strength. That evening, as he left the restaurant, Tyler felt no joy in their suffering. Their punishment wasn't his victory. It was simply the natural consequence of their choices. He'd merely ensured he wasn't collateral damage in their self-destruction. Walking to meet Lynn for dinner, Tyler felt something he hadn't expected: peace. The betrayal that could have broken him had instead freed him. His old life, built on false loyalties and pretend family bonds, had made way for something genuine. Lynn was waiting at their usual table, her legal briefs set aside as he approached. Her smile held no artifice. Her success was her own, and her loyalty had never been bought with his money or position. "Good day," she asked as he sat down. "Better now," he replied, and meant it. Sometimes, Tyler reflected, losing a false family was the only way to make room for a true one. He'd survived their betrayal and emerged stronger, wiser, and, surprisingly, happier. In the end, he hadn't needed to destroy them. They'd done that themselves. His only role had been to ensure they couldn't destroy him in the process. Epilogue. 5 years later. The Manhattan skyline had changed in 5 years, but Walsh Tower stood unchanged. 48 stories of glass and steel, its illuminated logo visible for blocks. The building, once just a floor in Tyler Walsh's portfolio, now housed the headquarters of Walsh Investment Partners, one of the city's most respected financial firms. Tyler stood at his penthouse office window, watching the sunset paint the city gold. At 50, he cut an even more imposing figure than before. Success had added a layer of quiet authority to his presence. Marriage to Lynn 2 years ago had softened some of his edges while sharpening others. "Mr. Walsh?" Margaret Chin, now chief of staff, appeared at his door. Still efficient after 20 years, she'd grown with the company. "Your dinner reservation at Daniel is confirmed, and I have those updates you requested." Tyler turned from the window. "How are our old friends doing?" Margaret consulted her tablet. "Amanda Walsh, now Amanda Collins again, still lives in Queens. The studio apartment her parents' trust fund affords is a far cry from the Upper East Side life she once knew. Her son, Lucas, is 4.5. There's no father listed on the birth certificate." Tyler nodded. His ex-wife's fall from grace had been spectacular and complete. The last he'd heard, she taught yoga at a local gym, her private client dreams shattered by the scandal that still followed her name. Oscar Bright, still in Singapore, technically, though he moves around Asia frequently. He attempted similar schemes with wealthy expatriate wives in Hong Kong and Tokyo, but your documentation of his pattern made its way through certain channels. He's been blacklisted from most reputable fitness facilities and social clubs in the region. Recent photos showed a man gone to seed. Oscar's looks, once his primary weapon, had faded. Without access to wealthy clients, he'd been reduced to running boot camps on public beaches, living in modest apartments, and occasionally reaching out to Lucas with empty promises and excuses for missed child support. "And Cassandra?" Margaret's expression softened slightly. The monthly letters had stopped 2 years ago, but they all knew Tyler kept tabs on his former stepdaughter, still at the mid-level accounting firm in Queens. The plea deal and criminal record prevent her from advancing beyond her current position. She lives in a shared apartment in Astoria, takes the subway to work, and recently started dating a high school math teacher. It was a far cry from the life Tyler had once planned for her: the corner office, the trust fund, the penthouse apartment. The daughter he'd loved had died the day she chose to betray him. Benjamin Boyer chose that moment to arrive, his timing impeccable as always. Now senior partner at the city's most prestigious law firm, he'd parlayed his handling of Tyler's divorce into a specialty practice serving Manhattan's elite. "Ready for dinner? Lynn's meeting us there." Tyler gathered his coat. "How are Norma and Kenneth?" "The Hayes are enjoying retirement in Palm Beach. They still haven't spoken to Amanda beyond sending birthday checks to Lucas." Ben checked his phone. Kenneth mentioned they've updated their will. Everything goes to charitable foundations. Apparently, they don't trust their daughter with even an inheritance anymore. The drive to Daniel took them past Amanda's old yoga studio. Through the window, they could see her leading a sparsely attended class. Her designer yoga wear had been replaced by generic athletic clothes, her carefully maintained appearance showing signs of strain. She tried to reach out again. Ben mentioned. Wanted to discuss renegotiating the divorce settlement. Nothing to discuss. Tyler's tone was final. The prenup had been clear. Infidelity meant forfeiture of all claims to his assets. Amanda's betrayal had cost her not just her marriage, but her lifestyle, social standing, and relationship with her parents. At Daniel, Lynn was waiting at their usual table. Her recent appointment as federal judge hadn't changed her. She remained the brilliant, grounded woman Tyler had fallen for during his divorce. Her pregnancy was just starting to show, a fact that filled Tyler with genuine joy rather than the manipulation he'd felt from Amanda. I saw Cassandra today, Lynn mentioned as they settled in. At the courthouse. She was filing paperwork for her firm. Tyler raised an eyebrow, inviting her to continue. She looked different. Older. When she saw me, she asked if you'd received her wedding invitation. I did. Tyler sipped his water. The invitation sat unopened in his office drawer, like all of Cassandra's previous attempts at contact. She's marrying that math teacher, Ben added. Small ceremony in New Jersey. Amanda can't afford to help with the wedding, and Oscar stopped responding to her messages entirely. The conversation turned to happier topics, Lynn's pregnancy, the company's expansion, Ben's recent engagement. Yet Tyler couldn't help but reflect on how completely justice had been served. Oscar Bright, the charming predator, now lived in self-imposed exile, his cons exposed, his lifestyle reduced to hustling for clients on Asian beaches. His good looks had faded, his charm had soured, and his dreams of wealthy women's fortunes had crumbled. Amanda Collins, once the elegant socialite, taught yoga to bored housewives in Queens, living on a meager trust fund and sporadic child support. Her pregnancy, meant to be leverage, had become a burden. Her son would grow up without a father, her parents' disappointment a constant shadow. Cassandra Stone, the beloved stepdaughter, had lost not just her inheritance but her future. Her criminal record and public disgrace had closed doors that Tyler's influence had once opened. She lived a modest life, punching time cards and sharing apartments. The consequences of betraying the man who would have given her everything. Meanwhile, Tyler's life had flourished. Walsh Investment Partners had tripled in size. His marriage to Lynn brought genuine happiness. The baby on the way would be raised with real values, not the false loyalty that had destroyed his first family. Sometimes, Lynn said, reading his thoughts, karma needs a little help. Tyler smiled, taking her hand. Justice is about consequences. They chose their path. I just made sure they couldn't escape where it led. Later that night, in their Upper East Side penthouse, Tyler watched the city lights while Lynn worked on case files. His phone buzzed with a text from Margaret. Amanda had tried to use his name to get a store credit again, only to face embarrassment when the manager knew their history. 5 years had proven that the best revenge wasn't about destruction. It was about letting people live with the consequences of their choices. Oscar faced the loneliness of a con man exposed. Amanda endured the humiliation of a schemer whose plots backfired. Cassandra lived the modest life of someone who traded birthright for betrayal. Tyler hadn't needed to pursue revenge. He'd simply made sure justice was served, cold and complete. His new life, the company's success, his marriage to Lynn, their growing family, wasn't built on the ashes of the old one. It was built on the wisdom gained from surviving betrayal. The city sparkled below, and Tyler felt the familiar sense of peace. He'd lost a false family and found a true one. Success, he'd learned, was the best revenge, but happiness was the best reward. Lynn looked up from her files, smiling at him, and Tyler knew he'd won more than justice. He'd won freedom from people who'd never deserved him, making room for those who did. In the end, karma had needed his help, but justice had served itself. He'd simply made sure everyone paid their fair price for betrayal. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.